All right, guys, it's another Thursday night, and so you know what that means. It's time for the Mutant Experience, and tonight, episode lucky number 13. I am extremely excited about tonight because tonight we have on the podcast none other than the notorious one, the notorious DJZ, public enemy, maybe number two now in the third strike scene, Denjizz. How's it going, Denjizz?
How you doing, man? I'm
So,
doing good.
so we haven't, obviously obviously you've appeared on online and every now and then,
hmm
but man, we haven't like you haven't shown up to anything like physical in a really long time, right? Like,
Uh-huh.
what was the last time? Like the last Fight Club, right?
Yeah, that was Fight Club 6. That was like almost 2 years ago, actually.
Yeah, that's been a while. But anyone who plays Third Strike Online has noticed that you've sort of been increasing your presence online a little bit. Um, and so we'll definitely get to that. But before we get to that, I just wanted to remind everyone, for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, that the Mutant Experience is currently the only Third Strike, the only podcast running dedicated to the Third Strike scene. And I'm also proud to announce that the Mutant Experience is now powered by TrollCoinBot. I don't know if any of you know about TrollCoinBot, but definitely check the link on the website, and it'll tell you all about that. Um, but yeah, so yeah, getting back to what we were talking about originally. Yeah, you've been playing a little bit
hmm
more recently. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Like
Yeah,
maybe
sure.
why you've
Well,
been
yeah. Well, after Fight Club 6, I kind of like I took a whole year off actually.
mm,
So, and I didn't return until like earlier this year, like around, I think around April or May. That was when I started playing again. So, I mean, I still have my PS3, but it is at another place right now. So, like my only access to like Third Strike play is Fightcade and Xbox right now.
mm. And so, but it's been 2 years though. I mean, like,
Yeah,
why have
it's
you
been a
been
while.
why you've been playing like recently? Like, because everyone's been recognizing that you've been playing a little bit more. I mean, are you planning to go out to something, or
Yeah,
what's
I'm
going
planning.
on with that?
Yeah, I'm definitely planning something. Maybe like some event at like September. I think there's like a big event in September. I don't know, something like that.
Oh, because I thought you were gonna go to defend the North, and you
Yeah,
didn't show up to that. That's
yeah.
like,
I was definitely planning to go there for like a good warm up, like
mm,
to like play again. But I
mm.
could for some reason I couldn't make it that day. So right now I'm just looking forward to possibly TFC
This,
and
this is why I love you, Denjis. No homo. But like
why.
you fire shots that aren't even meant to be shots. You hear how this man described Defend the North? He's like, yeah, I was gonna go to DTN for a warm up.
Oh.
You know.
Well, I didn't really mean it that way. I meant that.
No, I know. I'm just
Yeah,
trolling you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I did mean it that way. Actually, a little bit.
But a little bit. You did mean it a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
See.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought you were gonna go to that. That would have been awesome, man.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I mean, Defend the North. I was thinking about going there, and Ahmed was like, it was like, oh, you're not gonna win it two in a row back to back. I was like, all right, we'll see about that. And then Defend the North rolls around, and I couldn't even make it. So
well,
yeah,
Ahmed's my boy, but I don't know if he has any place talking shit to you. He didn't show up either. So
yeah. Ahmed's been MIA as well. So
yeah, yeah.
me and him, we haven't really showed up much. I mean, he's been showing up to like IFM sessions to play
Uh-huh.
some Dirt Strike. So I mean, yeah, I've been more inactive than any of them. So I can't really like
Well, let's talk a little bit about that, man, because one of the things that makes you such a infamous figure in the Third Strike scene is
yeah.
there's a lot of players in the scene that have accused you of being very selective in the events that you go to. You know what I mean? If you
Really?
catch my drift, right? Like there are people who
Uh-huh.
who accuse you of not coming out enough,
Yeah.
or you
I
know,
kind of yeah, I kind of feel that way. Yeah.
I mean, like, so I mean, you're on the podcast now.
Hmm.
Everyone's watching, everyone's listening. I mean, what's going on? How come you don't? Because obviously you're a great player. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And in the events that you have gone to, you've done reasonably well. Let's think back on some of the things that you've done. I mean, you've won a few major single tournaments. I think the last tournament you won was 2 years ago, Defend the North.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
and, and and your performance at that event was very good. You beat me, very salty. Got me very salty. We were playing on those Mickey Mouse TVs, but see, that's the great thing about being retired, Anson. It's like, like I can tell people, I can
Yeah,
admit to
you can
people
show your
that
true
they're
self,
good,
right?
right?
Yeah.
But when you're not retired, you don't give anybody credit. Everyone's garbage except you. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, pretty much.
but you did really well 2 years ago at
Hmm.
DTN. You obviously, we're gonna talk about Fight Club maybe later on in the show, but you really impressed RKF and Vanal when they came there. Um, and so, but you just don't go out. You don't come out. I mean, you're
Yeah.
on the
Hmm.
podcast now. Tell me, why is it that you don't go out as much as some people think you should be going out?
All right. So, I mean, people definitely feel that way. That I'm. They always say that I'm a flaker, like I'm dodging someone. Like unlike players on Fight Kit, they always like, oh, he's dodging like Nika or like there. Some people say I didn't go to TFC last year because I was dodging Ryan. So I mean, they could say what they want. It's just last year I took a full year off, so I couldn't really I couldn't make it to any fight clubs or any events. And then it wasn't until yeah, because I had to finish my last year in school. So there was that, and yeah, I just want to put more time in that. And then after that, now that I have more time and TFC is around the corner, I'm definitely trying to make it to that event. So
Oh,
I
wait,
mean,
wait,
we'll
wait.
see.
Oh, hold on. So, because this is live now,
Uh huh.
Denjizz. So are you telling us that you're throwing you're planning to go to TFC?
Yeah, it's
I mean, like,
definitely a plan, man. I mean,
oh,
it's like a once in a lifetime thing. You have like you have the
because
best players
because
there.
yeah, well, you just said you're
Dude,
going. You just said you're going. So if it falls through and you don't go, that's more.
no, I'm planning to go. I'm planning to go. That's different than going.
Oh, so planning to go is different from going.
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. So that's the option select. Okay,
Yeah. I only
okay,
have like
okay.
1/3 of the things ticked off. Like there's like a plane ticket, there's like reserve the room, and I don't know, the third is something just showing up. So I've only
Uh,
completed like one of them, only booked my room, and yeah.
okay,
But
okay.
depending on my schedule, depending on the circumstances, then I mean we'll see if I can make it there. But I'm definitely looking to play like all the best players there. Like my itch has been like coming back, resurfacing. So
Mm.
that's definitely something I want to participate in.
So why didn't you go to last year's TFC? I don't know. I don't know if you answered that.
Yeah, last year I was off, but I was watching it on stream anyway though. So
Hmm.
it was a good
Okay.
experience. Yeah, something that I'm definitely looking forward to.
Well, what were your thoughts on last year's TFC? What were
Last
some
year's
of the things
TFC.
that stood out to you the most?
Well, I was very impressed by not by the winner. I was actually impressed by I think Yuki. I think Yuki did really well.
Wait. So you weren't impressed by the guy who won the tournament,
Yeah,
Ryan?
Yeah,
You
I
were
was not
not
impressed with.
impressed? Oh my
Yeah,
gosh. Okay.
I mean, I'm not firing shots. I mean, he's a good player. I mean, regardless, you have to be like all the best players to win.
Uh huh.
But like, I think Yuki was more impressive there. But the thing is that it wasn't like his tournament play; it was his 10 play that impressed me. Like his first
Uh huh.
attempt with 5 star,
Uh
and
huh.
what was it? His casuals on the first day. Like he
Mhm.
pretty much like ran through everybody with Ken.
Mhm.
So yeah, that part I was like, wow, he's really good, and
Mhm.
he's really as good as people say he is.
Mhm.
So and
Well, we're
hmm?
just because obviously you were watching it on the stream, but aside from Yuki, were there any like new
I
faces that you thought impressed you, like new players that you were like, hey, this guy's got a lot of potential. He probably,
yeah,
you know,
definitely Sherwin. I mean,
Sherwin. Okay.
we saw the generals and what he did, and
Mhm.
yeah, he took out like the other half of his own team.
Well, that
So
was Luke, wasn't it? I think you're mistaken. Luke was the Goki
yeah,
player.
Luke was one of them. He was the other one half. It was Luke, and then after that it was Sherwin. But I was
Is
more
it?
impressed by Sherwin because like
Uh
never really heard of him
huh.
before then. Like Luke, I've played on GGPO before. He
Uh
went by like the name Double Three. So I mean, I
huh.
played Luke, and he always gave me like some trouble. So I knew he was a pretty good player back
Uh
then.
huh.
But
Yeah,
Sherwin,
yeah,
he's
yeah. Sherwin beat us in the
yeah
team tournament,
he
right?
OCV your team, man.
Yeah, yeah,
He OCV your team.
yeah. So,
Yeah,
props to Sherwin. He's definitely. I think he's showing up this year.
I think so
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to playing Sherwin if I can make it.
Hmm.
Is Dudley? I've been playing as Dudley on the Xbox, but
Uh huh.
it's like a totally different experience. It's like 125 ping. So yeah, screw that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And so let's talk a little bit about this upcoming TFC. So let's just for the sake of argument, let's say that you are going.
Okay.
What are some of the things that what are some of the things that are you looking forward to the most? If you do make it to TFC,
Yeah. Well, like I'm never gonna get a chance to play the Japanese players, like
unless you
so,
go to Japan.
unless I go to Japan, which is unlikely. So I mean, it just so happens they're in the U.S. So
Uh huh.
if I am there, then yeah, I'll be looking forward to playing all five of them.
Uh huh.
Like particularly like KO, Kokujin, and RX,
Uh huh.
and Yakun. Yeah,
Uh huh.
because obviously just by their name, they're part of the KO family,
Uh huh.
and Kokujin, he's like part of the Nuki family. So you have all the best players there. So
Well.
definitely want to test my skills against them.
Uh huh. Well, hopefully you have an opportunity to play them.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be 4 head-to-heads supposedly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I heard the venue is not 24 hours, which is a
No,
shame.
I don't think it's 24 hours. I think it's only
Yeah,
until midnight. I heard they
yeah,
corrected it,
yeah. So I mean, I'm
but it,
surprised. I'm surprised that there isn't some sort of like kumite plan so that everyone can get a chance to play the Japanese. Um,
yeah. I
I'd like
heard
to see
Kong
you.
was
I
planning something like something impromptu,
yeah.
like
I'd like to see you against KO. Because
yeah.
you play Lloyd very well, and so I'd like to see how you play against
Again.
KO.
Oh, KO, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I'm confident against all of them, maybe except Kokujin,
Hmm,
because I feel that's probably like my worst matchup, the Dudley matchup.
hmm. How come?
Well, because Dudley freaking hits hard, man. He hits like a truck.
Well, that you could say that with anyone, right?
No, no. Dudley hits so
like
hard.
I could say
It's
Dudley's
almost
my bad
unfair.
match. Well, Dudley does hit hard. He does hit hard, and he
Yeah,
is very
I mean,
mobile.
if you compare Dudley to like all the other characters,
Hmm.
with EX, just the EX, he could do 40% damage. That's ridiculous.
Uh-huh.
Like let's say like one parry, and then he does like a fierce into EX machine gun, and then he
Hmm.
juggles you in the corner. Like all of a sudden you're in the corner, he juggles you 40% damage, and he gets like 50-50 mix up. So
Hmm.
I feel Dudley's very underrated, and Kokujin, that he's like a madman. So that's definitely a matchup that I fear more than Yang.
Hmm.
I would say.
How about Yakun? I know you didn't mention Yakun at all. Because
Mm-hmm.
Yakun's nasty. I think Sho is better than I like Sho better than Yakun. I think
Yeah, I think
I
Show's better. I think the
but
younger
but
players are better than.
but Yakun's amazing. So obviously we have to remember Yakun's coming, and
Yeah.
also Issei. Let's not sleep on Issei. But obviously you and I played him a lot
I've played him.
in the CF days, right?
Yeah, I played
Um,
like 10 years ago, but yeah.
yeah. Other than the Japanese players, I mean, in a sort of an ideal world, right? Like, who are some of the American players or the non-Japanese players that
Mm-hmm.
you'd like to, maybe do first to fives with when you're there, if you go there?
Well, how come you won't show up? How come you don't show up? I want to see you play against them.
Well, let's answer
Okay,
the you answer the question
okay.
first.
All right. So
But
who else do I want to
like
play?
non
Okay.
Japanese players that you would like to do sets with.
Well, I want to do one against Ryan for
Okay,
sure. For
definitely.
sure, Ryan. I heard Tenra is not going, so I can't play him.
Uh huh.
Uh, well, particular players who I won't play, like who I won't see again. Like most likely I won't see again because there's somewhere else. So maybe like 5 star. Like I feel that Fight Club 3 when 5 star came over, like we were supposed to run like a set twice, but then like the first time I was tired, and then the last day like I challenged him. He said he was tired, so yeah, we couldn't really run anything there, and so
Yeah.
yeah, maybe we could run like a small set between me and him, me and Ryan, and who else? Oh yeah, Yuki. Yeah, definitely Yuki. And yeah, that's about it. I think those 3 players, they're like the top players there. So why not?
Mhm. So
Wait,
Yuki, Ryan,
and you,
would you put money? Would you put actual money on it? I I
what?
don't know. I don't know
Yeah,
what it is. Maybe I'm just an old
uh-huh.
school guy, but
Yeah.
this whole like, hey, let's play first to fives for fun. I don't know, man. Like when me and Lloyd started Fight Club,
Uh-huh.
we
Oh yeah, yeah. It was
we de-
always like
we
$20 minimum.
like there was always something, some sort of monetary. Like for example, shout outs to Surge Arcadium. He hosts ST on Mondays on Fightcade, and he hosts Third Strike on Wednesdays.
Hmm.
And he created this cryptocurrency called Troll Coin, and with Troll Coin, users it's all for fun, obviously, but users can actually bet on like tournament matches, and like I didn't know how much like it was almost embarrassing like how much
What
fun I
is
was having watching
what is it's
like
like fake
all
Monopoly money?
yeah, kind of. I mean all because I was able to bet like these troll coins on these matches, and I'm like troll coin is perfect for third strike. Like I don't know.
Hmm.
Just throwing it out there for whoever is streaming TFC. I definitely think troll coin would be a great way to sort of get the streamers involved,
It's the
in
first time I
terms of
heard
the
of that.
matches. Yeah, it's. I don't want to say it's like Bitcoin, then everyone's gonna be like, oh, then. But again, for those of you who are curious about Trollcoin, just click on the link on my page. Um, but like, how confident are you against Ryan? Like, I want you to answer that question monetarily. Like,
Okay.
how much money would you be willing to wager? Tell me how
Oh,
confident you are against Ryan. First, let's say first to 10. Okay, first
first
to
to 10.
10. Denjizz versus Ryan TFC. How much money would you be willing to place? How confident are you in that set?
Um, let me see. I have to think about it. I would say
Now, no troll answers. Like actual, like you know,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like $100. I think $100 is pretty fine. Like
100 bucks.
yeah,
Okay.
it's like it's not too much that is like there's ego in the way, and it's like it's also like it's not too little. I mean we're grown adults, so $100 is like this. It's not too much, and it's not too little. So
Well, let's not speak for everyone. Not everyone in the 3S scene, acts the part.
well,
But
if you commit to TFC already, you're spending like at least $500 anyway.
yeah,
So what's like $100 to them? I mean, like if you reserve a room, that's like $100 a night. So
that's true. That's true.
yeah, I think $100 is like that's fine. That's a good
Okay,
challenge.
that sounds good. 100 bucks
Yeah,
first. I mean, for 100 though, I would do. How about first to five for 100?
versus 5. Yeah, that's fine
I
too.
I think 100 is like a good, friendly adult money match amount.
Hmm.
First to five for
Yeah,
100.
it's not like what Exo proposed. Exo proposes like freaking like 500 to a thousand bucks every
You know,
set. Yeah,
but
he's like
he
a big
proposed that
money
to
guy.
you.
Yeah, he proposed that to me like 2 months ago. He was like, "Yo, come to the Summer Jam, and we'll play for 500."
Wait,
He
wait,
was like, "Since
wait,
you're
Kang.
complaining so much about Fightcade, play me in the Summer Jam, and
Wait,
I'll put a
Kang.
500." Huh?
Kang challenged you to come to
Yeah,
Summer Jam.
yeah, he did.
and he tried to bait you with a $500 money match.
Yeah, it was actually good. It was actually a really good deal. It was 10-1 odds. So he would put 500. If I win 500. If I lose 10% of that, which I mean, yeah, 10% of that, which is 50.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, I would have went, but it's like far away.
But that's those are the kind of answers that makes you so hated,
Yeah.
dude. It's like, oh,
I talk all this
it's,
shit, and then I make the weakest excuse to not show up. Right?
yeah. Okay, like don't get me wrong, right? Like if you want to talk
All
shit
right,
and not
if
back
he
it
shows
up,
up to the next level, I would definitely go because that's like 2 hours away. But yeah,
what if Kang shows up to next level?
I would definitely would. But Summer
But he
Jam,
has, but that's like 4 hours away for him. That's like 5 hours away
yeah.
for him.
Last time I went to Summer Jam, you know how long that took? That was, let me see,
No,
that
that's true.
was 4 hours to get there and another like 5 hours to get back home. So
But
in that
but
one day is 9 hours. Is nine
well,
hours.
hold
So
on. I gotta blow you up a little bit, Denjizz,
mhm.
because Rage was there.
Yeah, I mean Rage drives.
Yeah,
I think he drove that.
why couldn't you hitch a ride with Rage? You guys don't live that far away from one another.
I would have like if he asked me, like
Oh,
if
so
I knew
Rage
he
didn't
was going.
ask you. Oh, okay.
Oh my god, like I talk to Rage all the time, so I'm surprised
Damn.
he didn't
Well,
ask me that.
well, before we get any further,
Yeah.
we need to send props to Rage, right, Anson? We need to
Yeah,
give him his
top three,
props
man.
for getting three, man. His top three, dude.
Top three.
But and it's not just top three, but it's who he beat to get to top three. Because he beat Flair.
Uh huh. Well,
Wow.
Flair was mad rusty, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Like I saw how he played Ryu. It was like it wasn't like
Hey
CF
man.
Flair,
Hey man.
but
You
it
know,
was still
it is what it
the
is,
main
right?
Flair.
It is what it
Yeah,
is,
I
man.
guess.
You know? But but yeah, so shout outs to Rage. All the I felt very proud for some reason.
Hmm.
I felt very
And
proud.
yeah, he could have beat Durbus as well. You know, the
Yeah.
Doorstown Brothers right there.
Oh yeah, it
It
wasn't
was
that at
close.
all.
It was
Yeah.
close. He missed a few confirms and stuff,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, yeah still is unacceptable. I think because yeah, I think he missed like an Emperor punch into Super that would have
Mhm.
won like one of the rounds.
Mhm.
So it would have changed the match as a whole.
Mhm.
So
It
he could have
also yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
he could have definitely like tied it up and probably went to a final match with Therapist.
Mhm.
But I think it was the final round anyway. I forgot,
Mhm. Yeah.
but it was close.
Um. Another thing that I think is happening at TFC is supposedly they're gonna have a 5v5 co-op cup. You
Yeah,
know,
that'd
pre
be
co-op
exciting.
cup, same
Uh huh.
character. Um.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
So, uh, like, if you went, who would you be on the Ryu team or would you be on
Nah.
the Ken team? Because maybe you want
Well,
to tell the maybe you want to
yeah.
tell the stream monsters about your recent character switch. Maybe.
No, I still use Ryu, but Ken
Hmm.
is a character that I'm experimenting a little bit with. But TFC, I don't think they have. I only think they have like at most three Ryu players. Like at best, there will only be three. There'll be Juan, there'll be me, and who else uses Ryu anyway?
Hmm.
If Kong was to join our team, it would still be like 3 or 4 at max. So I don't
Hmm.
think a Ryu team would be formed there. So, so if I were to go, then I would be on the Ken team.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Ken team. There's gonna be like 10 Ken players, so plenty to choose from.
Mhm. And then obviously there's the 3 versus 3. Jesus, how many events are happening at TFC?
No idea, man.
Kang's a
There-
miracle worker.
There's gonna be a lot.
He's gonna fit 40 events in 2 days. I love it. So
Except the new blood.
yeah, no room for new blood battle royals.
Yeah.
But there's also gonna be a 3v3 tournament, and so who would you want to team with if that happened? You know.
Well, well, I can't decide until the week before if I can make it. So
Yeah.
that would mean that if I would be there, then I'll be the last man standing. Like it's like in baseball, people
So
usually.
so for the record, right? Like, what's preventing you? Why are you unable to
Well, that's personal stuff.
for that league? Is it just
But
personal stuff? It's just
yeah,
like okay,
personal stuff, and
okay,
yeah, it's family. It's family
oh
stuff.
okay, okay. No, I respect that. I respect
Hmm.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Um. Well,
So so yeah. So if I
before,
was there, then
mhm.
yeah, go ahead.
But who would you like to team with if you were there
Who would I like to team with?
for the 3v3?
Well, I think everybody already has a teammate already. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
5 Star asked me to. I heard a rumor that 5 Star wanted to team with me, but like I don't want to keep him waiting until last minute only to tell him that I can't go.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I just let him, like choose who he wanted to, and I heard from Cam that he's teaming with Miaban, I think Miaban or Ryan, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I love to team with my like players that like I wouldn't mind team with Rage or
Mm-hmm.
like whoever, like even though Rage I've always teamed with him just because I like the guy, even though his skills don't even like they don't really, they're not that good, but I still team with him because I like Rage and I like the chemistry. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, ideally, uh, people I like. I don't really care if I team with like Titans or I team with players who I enjoy playing with.
Mm-hmm.
Because after all, it's a team tournament, so fun is part of the factor there.
Well, before we take our first break, I hopefully I really hope that you do make it to TFC, Hanson,
Do
because
what?
I do hope you make TFC because I played the role of the heel last year. You know what I mean? I was the villain last year. TFC needs a villain, a new villain, and so hopefully you make it out and you can be. You know how like like the superhero movies, right? The second like you need to be the villain for the second TFC
Really?
movie. Yeah, because I'm sure there are a lot of people that are gonna want to play you and that
Yeah,
are sort of gunning for you. Um, so we're
for
gonna go
sure.
ahead. Yeah, for sure. So we're gonna go ahead and take our first break. Remember, guys, if you have any questions for either me or Denjizz, write them in the chat, and we're gonna get to them at the end of the show. But we're gonna go ahead and take a 2 minute break, and when we come back,
Yeah,
we're gonna talk a little bit about online Third Strike, right, Denjizz? Because
yeah, I'll be
one of the things that makes you such a unique figure is that you were not only able to be hated by offline players, but you've
fine.
also been able to be hated by online players as well.
Yes, yes.
so this is that's quite an achievement on your part. So we're gonna go ahead and talk a little bit about that when we get back. So once again, guys, you're watching the Mutant Experience with Denjizz, and stick around, and we'll be back in a couple minutes.
Okay.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Mutant XPerience. For those of you who are joining us now, this is episode lucky number 13, and I have on none other than Notorious One, Denjizz. And so, Denjizz, we were talking about TFC a little bit before, and we were
Hmm.
talking a little bit about why people dislike you. And, we were talking during the break that, a lot of that really has to do with how you came up, right? Because you know, you came up in CF. You came up in the New York scene,
Yeah.
and you had to have really thick skin to play there, right?
Yeah, you
Especially
need
for
to have
someone
thick
like
skin.
you, right? Like I don't know, how old were you when the first time you stepped foot into CF? What, you were like 12 or something, and you were
12.
like, what were
No.
you like? You were like 4 feet
Eh,
8, and then you were just you, you're
no.
like,
It was my freshman year in college, so
oh, okay,
I was 17. Yeah, 17 when I first stepped in CF.
uh huh.
Yeah, that was my first year, and yeah, that was 17.
And so, what was your first sort of? Do you remember a little bit about that first experience
Oh,
going to CF?
yeah, I definitely remember it because
Yeah,
you never forget your first experience in anything.
you
So
never forget your first time. Is that?
yeah, in anything.
Yeah.
So I still remember it was like my first time walking in. It was like a sunny afternoon,
Uh-huh.
and it was like a random day. It wasn't like a Friday or anything.
Do you know what year it was roughly? Or
Yeah, it was 2007. 2007.
okay.
So I walked in there, and back then the cab was near the entrance. Like I would say like 20 feet past the entrance, and then
Yeah.
the cab would be on the left side basically.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was during that time, and actually the first opponent I saw on the cab was actually you. You were the first
Really?
person that you were using Erie at the time, and it was
I was.
you, Flair.
And this is the first
It was
time you ever stepped foot to CF.
yes, uh-huh.
Wow.
And yeah, and you were on the cab playing someone else. There were like 6, 7 people there. It was you, Flair, and one of them was Carrie. I'm not sure if you know Carrie,
Yeah, I remember
Soul
Carrie. Yeah.
Avenger.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so we all went way back in the days, and yeah, that was my first step into it, and it was a rough experience because I was a pad player growing up,
Uh huh.
so I had to. That was my first day transition. I was like, "Hey man, how do you do EX Fireball?" And then Kerry was, "Oh, you had to press like 2 punches, like double punches." I was like, "Oh, okay." So that was how I learned, and yeah, spent like mad quarters, probably like lifetime at CF, spent like $1,000. Yeah, all the beatdowns, man. That's how I learned, and
Uh-huh.
yeah, that was first day. I played you guys. I think I stayed until nighttime where I played like Helgen and Duke,
Uh-huh.
but that could have been another day.
Uh-huh.
Not I don't really quite remember, but I do remember like you were the first guy I played.
Really?
Yeah, you
Wow.
had like you
Did
had
you
like
win?
30. No, you had like 32 wins, man.
Oh, okay.
You had like 32 wins.
I don't remember, dude. I swear, dude. I've forgotten so much. It's
Uh,
whatever. I do remember the first person I played at CF though. I played Helgen. Helgen was the first guy I played.
yeah, so you
Um,
remember the
yeah,
first guys you played.
yeah. It was like late. It was like late, like some midweek, like 2005, and it was only. And I hadn't
Damn,
moved to New York yet. I just came to visit New York, just like on spring break.
2005.
Yeah, because I just wanted to
Yeah.
visit New York, just to visit.
Uh-huh.
And I went to CF, and you know there was no one there except Helgen. And remember back in the day, Helgen was so skinny.
He? I don't remember.
Yeah, he was like super super skinny. He was like hella skinny, hella skinny, hella skinny.
He
Yeah,
was like
and
yeah, he was like skateboarder or something.
yeah,
He always wanted something to drink though. That's what I
yeah.
remember.
And he was using Ryu. Remember
Yeah,
his main is
his
Ryu, right?
classic Super One Ryu.
What
It
do you
was
think
so
about
fun.
what do you think about Helgen's Ryu? Actually, I want to know I've always wanted to ask you what you thought about his Ryu.
Well, back then I thought he was the best player. Like
Yeah,
obviously from a fresh beginner's point of view, like anytime you see like some fancy parries, you'll be like, oh, this guy is so sick. This guy's so
yeah,
good. So I thought Helgen was the best player, but as I gotten better, like right now, obviously he's in that good because he doesn't put in the time into it.
uh-huh, uh-huh.
So, but he still has that the CF style.
Hmm.
I don't know, I can't really describe how he plays. he plays kind of like a troll sometimes. Like
Mhm.
he'll do like Hadouken. He'll do like random stuff like Tatsu, and then
Uh-huh.
there'll be days where he practices up and he does pretty damn good.
Mhm.
Where he like what you call it, like unleash the dragon.
Remember he beat Kang at the first Fight
Yeah,
Club?
yeah. I was gonna say that. Like that right there, he did pretty good. But then like in the other fight cards where he like I think he stopped trying. Like yeah, that's where you see his drunken style come out. His freestyle.
Yeah. So yeah, I think so tell us how did you how did you eventually, become more comfortable with with like with the stick? Do you just kept going, to
Yeah,
just kept going to
yeah.
CF? And did you buy a stick or something? What did you
Oh
do?
man, yeah. I didn't buy a stick until like 2011, I think,
Yeah.
when I was playing online. So all that
Yeah.
time I was still on pad for like
Uh huh.
3 years. But
Uh huh.
yeah, I showed at CF like at least once a week,
Uh huh.
and I play like at least a few hours. So eventually it became more comfortable for me,
Mhm.
and yeah, that would definitely the sticks at CF. Now that I look back at it, it's pretty bad. It's like super hard to maneuver the ball top.
Yeah. No, but
You
remember, it wasn't even a ball top. It was they were
the bat
American
top.
sticks.
Yeah,
They were, yeah,
the
bat
American
top.
sticks. Yeah,
Oh my god!
yeah,
For some reason, when I think back on it, like I don't know how we played on those sticks, man. Like,
yeah. Me too.
gosh,
Like now that I'm playing on Japanese sticks, yeah, it's like totally different.
how the hell did we play on a bat top? I bet all our forearms were like really buff though. Like,
Yeah.
like I can't even like. Oh yeah, that's just American sticks. I can't even.
Yeah.
So
Well,
like,
well,
what were
good. Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
so? Do you remember who you played first when you first went to CF?
Yeah, it
Like
was
which
you, man.
character? No, 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 no
Oh,
character. I mean,
okay.
sorry.
I think it was Ryu. At that time, I transitioned to Ryu. Well,
And so,
yeah, when I
and
first started, I was using Ken.
yeah.
Just like anyone else, they were inspired by Daigo Ken.
Hmm.
So using the typical white Ken. But then eventually, I moved on. I think like 6 months later, I decided to main Ryu, and that's pretty much been my main character ever since.
Why? Well, why?
Why?
Why were you? Why
I don't know.
was it?
Like I've been using Ryu in like every Street Fighter, so I guess he's like my favorite character.
Hmm.
And and yeah, particularly I like the way Frankie 3S from West Coast,
Hmm.
how he played Denjizz, and I
Yeah,
was like, oh shit,
a lot. Yeah.
that's pretty dope. So yeah, and it just clicks with me. I like stunning people with the super.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it just makes it more fun. It's that's the character. You just feel it.
Yeah, because I bet a lot of people have this misconception, because if you were, for those of you who on the stream who remember, Denjizz, in the third Fight Club was able to you money matched Vanal twice, right? And did you
Yeah,
beat him? You beat him both times, right?
yeah, both times.
And there are a lot of people on the stream maybe who assume that it was Vanal that was your inspiration for Denjin Ryu, but it was Frankie 3S. Is that what you're saying?
It was a little mixture of both. It was
Uh
a
huh.
little mixture of both.
But Frankie 3S was like the first though, right?
Yeah,
Like
definitely he was first. He
yeah,
was the inventor. He was the originator.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
and yeah, and no one was really using Denjis except no one was really using Ryu except I guess maybe Flash. Remember Flash G?
yeah.
I don't know if you
I,
remember
I
watching him
never
play.
played him really,
Hmm.
except Capcom qualifiers, but I never really
Hmm.
played Flashy. The only Denjin Ryu players there at CF, like it was like me and Olan Ryu.
Old man Ryu.
Yeah,
Is he coming to
yeah.
TFC? God, that would be
Nah,
sick if he came. No,
nah,
no.
he's not going. He's not going.
Shout outs to Gamester.
He
For,
thinks we're losers basically if we go to TFC.
really? Yeah, I don't know about that. So,
Well, no,
so
but it's all cool though.
obviously you go to CF, so you're
Hmm.
going there. and then you start playing on GGPO, right? Like,
Hmm.
when do you remember around what time you started playing GGPO?
Yeah, I think it was 2009. Well, actually, I
Uh huh.
started at 2DF. 2DF
Uh
was the
huh.
first platform I played on.
2DF. Yeah.
Yeah, my first name I went through I was actually Ryu 24, and
Uh huh.
I played as that on 2DF
Hmm.
and on GGPO.
Hmm.
Yeah, so it was around like 2009. It was about a year or two after I went to CF when I discovered like you could play the game online as well.
Hmm.
And man, like looking back, how did I play on that? Like it's so laggy and
Uh huh.
it's so terrible, like input lag. Back then I never understood the game, like how important the timing was, how important the speed of the game was.
Uh
Like
huh.
I never really felt it or understood it until like maybe like 2 years ago, like 2015, when I played on cab again. So
Uh huh.
yeah, as I gain more experience, you could feel the differences even more and more. So
Hmm.
it starts to affect your gameplay more and more that way.
Hmm.
So
So let's talk a little bit about how the legend of Ryu 24 grew. So you started playing on 2DF, then
mhm.
obviously you migrated to GGPO, um,
Yep.
and you didn't really play on Fightcade too much, right? Um, but so now that you're on the podcast, tell me a little bit about your thoughts of online play. I mean, because obviously, I know that you have some
Yeah.
some very
I
specific opinions about online Third Strike. Because if you remember, Stream Monsters, last week I had AC Slayer on the stream,
mhm.
who, because he has no scene where he lives,
Yeah.
he pretty much the only thing he can do is play online Third Strike. And obviously, there's a lot of people who play Third Strike online. Um, More and more people are streaming it, primarily from Fightcade because, like you said, Denjizz, it's free.
Mhm.
Um, but what do you think about learning the game online or playing the game online?
Well, it's not the real thing. It's not cap. And
So when you say it's not the real thing, what do you mean? It's like not the real thing.
it is it's not the true game as a whole.
Okay.
Because there's so many lag and timing that totally changes and affects the gameplay. Like
Hmm.
even on online edition, when you play on uh, arcade mode or training mode or against another guy, the
Hmm.
speed of the game is still very fast. It's still a lot faster than a cab. So yeah, but if it's like the only resource you have to play, then I mean that's fine with you because I mean they don't understand they've never played on cab if they don't really have a scene,
Hmm. But
So
when you say statements like, oh, "Okay, Third Strike Online is not the real thing," then does that mean that you're saying that the players who play there on there are frauds? Is that what you're saying? Like
not really.
like the people who play
Well,
just online, are they not real players? Like because it's like a statement that's kind of
yeah.
you know what I mean. Like
Uh,
like what about players who just
you
play
can
online? Like
yeah, they play online for fun, and yeah, that's fine with them. They're just playing and having fun and competing against one another,
mhm,
and you can't really. But I mean, it's just like a what I mean by it's not real is that there's like a different result if you were to actually play on a cab, because online, how do you confirm with like Ken Super? Like low force super is like I heard is like the most like the timing for to do low force super is like 7 frames, right?
mhm,
Yeah, and I heard that the human reaction time is like 7 frames is like the what's that word I'm looking for? But anyway, you get the point. It's like it's really hard to hit confirm, and like the timing is a lot faster.
mhm,
So instead of playing like cab is like playing on chess, it's like playing chess. You could adjust to what another player does. If they like move left, you could adjust that and move left yourself. And you could play so slow and make your decision a lot slower. And there's just more variables to that game. You can play like A, B, C, D, whereas on online there's only like A and B. It's like it's forcing you to make a decision. Otherwise, you get hit or you get thrown. So I mean that's like the biggest difference that I could describe that.
Hmm. Something that me and AC Slayer or I was sort of trying to ask him, but at the time, it was really my fault because I hadn't really thought about how to form the question. But I pretty much know how to form the question now. Um, like, is there like, because you play it online, right? And obviously, like, how do you like, can you get better playing online?
Yeah, you could. Because
I guess that's what I'm trying to
yeah,
ask.
at the end of the day, if you're getting the experience, if you have to like beat somebody and you have to try hard and learn the matchup,
Uh
I
huh.
mean, you learn like the matchups and how the characters are moving. Like
Uh huh.
before, like if I didn't have online GGPO back in the days, I wouldn't have learned I guess the Ibuki matchup.
Uh huh.
I wouldn't have learned, uh, you just get to experience all the matchups there.
Hmm.
Yeah, like Elena, like random characters that you've never played before.
Okay.
So yeah, as long as you get the experience, the push, then yeah, you still get better that way. But
So what you're saying is that like Fightcade can still be a tool to
yeah,
help you get better
yeah,
at the real
but
thing, which you claim
but
is.
yeah,
Uh
but
huh.
it also make you what's the word? It'll also make like create a false reality because some stuff won't work the same on cap. Like
Like, can you
some
can
moves
you give
wouldn't be
like a can you give like a specific example of what you're talking
yeah
about?
yeah. Let's say like the undive kicks online,
Uh huh.
they're like so fast
Yeah.
that the moment I see them, you have to like be blocking already. But on cab is like you see the full animation of the jump, and then
Oh yeah. Yeah.
you see the dive kicks are so slow, it's coming in. You have a lot more time. Just that uh little time in between that you could see the full animation that you could tap
Yeah.
forward is like a different is like a different experience. So
Uh huh.
yeah, there's that. And yeah, like Ibuki hop kicks, you compare it to Dragon Punch.
Uh huh.
Online is her moves are like ridiculously fast.
Uh huh.
So stuff like that,
Yeah. It's.
and that changes the complexion of the game. Like the mind games are different,
Uh huh.
and how you decide to go in on your opponent is totally different there.
Hmm. But in terms of practicing things like, for example, like set play, knowing the
Hmm.
matchups,
Yeah,
maybe practicing execution, maybe
yeah.
you can kind of use. Would you agree that you can kind of use Fightcade for those kind of things?
I would say set plays, yeah.
Yeah,
Executions, maybe,
maybe,
because
right.
I remember I went from online to like on cap.
Uh-huh.
I would always drop Ryu's 3-hit combo after the stun. Like I was
Yeah.
like, what? Why am I always missing the Tatsu? Like
Uh-huh.
I'm getting fierce, or I'm getting like fierce and nothing else. It was
Uh-huh.
because I was doing it too fast. You know.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
especially if you try to do like Kara Dragon, like
Uh-huh.
Kara, I would believe the timing would be a lot slower as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, how do you explain players like Nika then, like Lloyd? The way he came up is a lot. It's kind of there's a lot of parallels to the way you came up
Hmm.
because he played online while he was playing offline.
Yeah.
Um, but his execution, a lot of it has to do with just putting in the reps
Yeah.
online or in maybe
Yeah.
training mode or whatever.
Hmm.
And so that's I
Yeah.
guess
He puts it.
I guess it's the time that he put in, right?
Yeah, the time he puts in, and
Mhm.
he also plays a lot on cap, so he has time to adjust.
Mhm.
And yeah, he adapts pretty well, and
Mhm.
yeah, he adapts well. He plays often on cap, and
Mhm.
so yeah,
And
and,
so
yeah, and he's a good player. So
what do you think is the key to adapting well like that? Being able to adapt well and play, being able to go from like online to offline. How can players develop that? Because I sure as hell can't.
yeah, it's also like how you position your fingers, like like how should I say? I mean, if you watch like how MOV, how
Mhm.
how he presses buttons is like precision, is like slow and methodical. But
Mm-hmm.
when you play online, none of that flies. Yeah, it's like rapid. It's like rapid movement. Like every second you have to
Okay.
consistently press something. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, offline it's methodical. It's like there's like a rhythm to it.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say slow down your pace,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, and like calm down or play slower.
Mm-hmm. Would you say, let's switch to a more lighthearted sort of topic,
Hmm.
but you know, would you say that you developed the Denjizz persona mainly online? Like, cause I remember because you didn't really talk much when you went to CF,
Yeah,
you know.
and I still don't.
Yeah, and you still don't. When you come to events, you don't really say much. You just kind of you're more like you're more comfortable just kind of standing in the standing off to the
Yeah,
side and watching while you're talking shit online.
yeah,
um. So so
yeah, exactly.
what do you think sort of earned your reputation in terms of like how you developed that Denj's
Yeah.
persona online?
Well, I mean, I've always had this like trollish behavior about me.
Uh-huh.
So, you know, at one of the when I first created the account, right, 24, I was always on SRK, and
Uh-huh.
that's kind of like been how my humor is, like kind of like a dry sense of humor,
Uh-huh.
as I've been growing up. So, I mean, I've been kind of like a troll since I was in kindergarten. So, I guess that rubs people the wrong way. They find it like snobbish or arrogant. So yeah,
Uh-huh.
so that's how. Yeah, sometimes it irritates some people. Some people find it funny.
Mhm.
It's like a mixture.
So like what annoys you? What like sort of triggered you like, about like online players? Cuz one of the things that we need to remember about like GGPO and the Fightcade, like there's no mods, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So like people just say whatever they want to say. So what
Hmm.
are the things that just kind of triggers you when you read the chat? Cuz like
Well, look,
obviously like
you just look. Thank God there's an ignore button. All right, so you just block out anybody who pisses you off. Then your life would
uh-huh.
be so much better there.
Mhm.
And well, to answer your question, like you could tell who's who's an idiot on the chat. They're like mainly talking about there. All right, there's like three types. There's like the racist type.
Wait, there are three
There's like the
types of
violent type.
Fightcade trolls. Is that what you're talking? Is that what we're doing
Yeah,
talking about?
pretty
Okay.
much. Yeah, they have your basic stuff, racism,
Okay.
of the haters, like pure haters, the violent people,
Uh huh.
and yeah, that pretty much covers them. Those two.
Oh, can you say the? Oh, so there are only two types.
Yeah, two or three, but you get the idea. They're like, yeah, they're
Uh huh.
pretty much like the cancer of Third
What?
Strike.
What about the hey, I played offline back in the day. You guys don't know shit type. Do you see that? I've seen that a lot.
You do?
Right? Like
No.
like there's these
I
players.
don't-
Like I don't know their screen names, but like I'll read in the chat, and they'll somehow they'll say something like, yeah, I played offline back in the day with, and then they'll name drop players, right? Like, oh
uh,
yeah, I played back in the day with Pyro and Frankie. You
uh,
guys are shit. Like I see that a lot.
do you really?
Yeah, I
I'm,
see that a
I'm,
lot in the chat. I don't want to mention any names, obviously, because
yeah,
that wouldn't be right. But I see that a lot. Um,
I've never seen
so,
that actually.
but that's kind of weird. But like obviously, because you developed this Denj's persona, you had to have responded somehow. Like something had to have
Yeah.
triggered you. You know what I mean? Like, was it just like were you just was it just people feeling themselves on Fightcade that just kind of got you triggered? Like, dude, this is not real Third Strike. Like, according to you, I mean, is that why you kind of, is that why you would kind of,
No,
lash
no,
out at them or?
well, people in general, they dislike they dislike like dungeon writing players in general,
Uh
and then
huh.
they'll use like people in general, they like to blame stuff,
Uh huh.
so they like to blame lag, and
Mhm.
that's all good and stuff. So when they see you using dungeon, they're always like, oh, this guy using dungeon, right? He it takes no skill. This guy's a scumbag. he's like downloading porn. He's like torrenting shit. So
But like earlier, you admitted that Third Strike online is completely different from offline.
yeah, it is.
So then why do you use Denjin online then?
Yeah, I
Like why
do.
do you use it then online against people? Like
Well,
do you just use it to just practice, like
yeah,
to
you use it to
practice?
practice to have fun and stuff like that. But I don't take it too serious though. I mean, if I lose,
Uh
then I
huh.
lose. If I win, I win.
Okay.
And but some people take it. Some people get offended. They're like, oh, yeah, they just in general they dislike Denjin Ryu players
Hmm. Why? Why do you think that is?
because yeah, they think the lag affects how they parry. They're like, oh, you could never parry the super online, and you know, yeah. I mean, I could name a bunch of people, but they just
Uh huh.
they just dislike the super. They think it's OP'd online, and but I mean, I'll be more worried about twins. I'll be more worried about Ibuki online than I'll say like Ryu
Uh huh.
because they're just a lot more pesky online. They're like a lot faster, and it feels like there's more blocks done when
Hmm.
they hit you.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I mean
So
there are.
every character has their own pros and cons, their
Uh huh.
differences.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It's when I play, like you and I have played. You and I have played online, and I mean, I do somewhat agree with people who complain that you can't parry. Like, but I think the only time those apply is like when you get like a lag spike, like right when the Denjin shoots out. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that's like that's really the, because like for the most part, like I'm shitty parrying Denjin offline and online. So
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter. But I think like you can't deny, like if you shoot Denjin and then the lag spike happens, obviously it's gonna fuck you up,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't deny that.
So
Yeah,
let's sort
KO
of.
thing is always like, oh, Zenjin is so cheap online.
Uh
It's like totally unfair.
huh.
Yeah, he'll message me like, yeah, every time we play on 5K. He's like, can't parry this shit. Can't parry this shit, dude.
So let's talk a little bit about Third Strike Junkies, because I guess that's the other place where you kind of developed your reputation.
Uh huh.
You know,
Junkies, I don't really post there actually.
yeah. But
But
you were
the
talking, about how you because the chat. This is this is one of the things that I'm sure the chat wants to get to. But
well the other day I posted like for the first time ever,
huh.
and then I had a hate comment after that.
Really? What did you post? Because I've been off
Yeah,
3S Junkies for almost a year now.
yeah.
So
It was like my second time posting. I was
what did you?
asking someone.
Uh huh.
All right, I was commenting on someone who asked to get the UD videos. You know what the UD videos are? It's
Yeah.
basically yeah the paid membership for like high level Japanese play. So I
Mhm.
was like, people were like wondering like, who could subscribe to it because they
Mhm.
could only accept Japanese credit cards,
Mhm.
and yeah that's like the only form they accept. So they were asking for Japanese play. They were asking for like Gunfight. I don't know for Marco whoever. And
Uh huh.
I was asking for RKF. I tagged him. I was like, hey, RKF, can you hook us up with this? And then, yeah, like a few hours later, Ryan, he was like, you're an idiot. Like,
What, Ryan posted that?
yeah, out of nowhere, he's like, you're an idiot. Yeah, so I'm like, whatever. This guy is just, yeah, this guy's been that way for like 5 years already. So
Uh-huh.
it doesn't really bother me that much.
I know there are a lot of people in the chat that are gonna groan with what I'm about to say, because obviously all of us like to use Street Fighter as kind of an escape from the real world. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But
Uh-huh.
but obviously we can't help but recognize what's going on in our country right now, right, Denjizz? Um, and
Yeah,
so
North Korea, man.
yeah, and well, I mean, that's I was more referring to the things that have been happening in the South, you know, and
Uh-huh.
so when you hear the word hate, and when you use the word hate, we're a lot more sensitive now, and I guess a lot more people are pausing to think about what that word means, and what exactly are you trying to say when you use that word. Um, but why do you think Ryan hates you? Because it seems like that's You know, that's the feeling you get. Like,
Yeah.
because if
Well,
you look up
obviously
in
he
the if you
does.
look up in the dictionary, right, hate is basically defined as what an intense dislike for someone. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
so why do you think Ryan hates you?
Well, I mean, like I said before, like back when I had SRK, I came across as a trollish behavior,
Uh huh.
and he probably like found that to be annoying or
Uh
whatever.
huh.
And yeah, and there was a time where I like genuinely hated Chun-Li. Like I thought that Chun-Li players were like it was like really cheap. Like I always complained about her.
Huh.
So yeah, during that period, like I think I rubbed him off the wrong way. So ever since that, ever since that day, he's always been like on my tail. He's always like talking shit about me behind my back or whatever.
Uh huh.
Yeah, and that's where it came from. I mean, if you've been on any Third Strike forum, stream, anywhere, you probably seen him like mention me
Mm-hmm.
or my videos too.
Well, in all fairness, you have shot back at him, haven't you?
Not really. Well,
Not
yeah,
really.
yeah. Recently I saw him on stream talking shit again. It was like last week.
Uh
Yeah,
huh.
and then I retorted a little bit, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm. And so, you know, what do you think that's going to be like then? You know, if you do go to TFC and you do finally go face to face with your hated rival.
I have no, I don't know, man. But if I see him, then we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Sounds good.
I've had, I've met, some people who like we never saw eye to eye that well, and then
Uh
like
huh.
in person we were able to, like shake our hands and say, and everything is like cool afterwards.
Uh
There's
huh.
there's that form of respect, But for this guy, for 5 years he's always been, nagging behind my back or
Uh huh.
wherever. You know, oh, it's like how do you like, shake someone's hand when you meet them?
Mm-hmm. No, I completely understand it. It'll be very. It was very, to be completely honest, it was very awkward. You know, when I went to TFC because of some of the things that had gone on before. Um,
Well,
but yeah, you're right. That is going to be very awkward, right?
yeah, but if it's like a friend you had an argument with, you could like probably like shake it off. It was like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's whatever.
Yeah.
But there's some guy I've never met,
Uh
never
huh.
played, never played, and he's like, you know, but yeah, I mean, it's whatever.
Uh huh. So on the chat, Hispanic Jap, shout outs to Kyo. On the chat, Kyo says that you and Ryan got into a long argument on one of EXO's previous streams. Do you want to because
Oh yeah,
it's
that
not
that
like I
was
watch EXO streams, but
yeah
is there
that was the part where I just retorted. I was like,
but what did
I
you
was
guys talk
having
about?
like some casuals on a Kong stream,
Oh,
and
okay.
then yeah, like usual, he's always like, "Oh, you're garbage, you're trash." So I just like I felt that I had to retort something, so I did.
And what'd you say
So
exactly?
yeah, it's that simple.
Well, what did you say exactly though?
I said, oh yeah, he said something like, "I thought you were a lot better than that." Oh, you're absolutely garbage. So then I was like, I thought you were a lot better than that, but then Cameron Grimlock beats your ass,
Uh huh.
and then it goes on from there. Stupid shit like that is very childish.
Uh
I
huh.
tend to try to ignore stuff like that.
Uh
There's
huh.
like what do you get from that?
Mhm. Because the chat makes it seem like you guys were really going at it for an extended period of time.
Yeah, it's like 95% his part.
Oh, it
Like
was 95% him.
definitely,
So he
definitely,
was being the bully, I guess.
absolutely. Like I don't even like talk to him or I try to ignore him.
Uh
He's
huh.
always like spamming shit everywhere. So
And why do you think that is though? I mean, if you had to guess, like, why do you think Ryan seems so
because like
I don't know
like back
concerned with
around
you?
the days like I hated Chun Li.
Uh huh.
So I felt that winning with her was cheap or whatever, and
Okay.
like I said before, and then I
Mhm.
rubbed him the wrong way, and like you remember the 2014 the forum on SRK, yeah,
Mhm.
that was the part where he like called out people in first to tenth,
Hmm.
and then like a bunch of people had arguments, and you know that, and he basically like held a grudge against me, and
Hmm.
he still has the same feeling. So that's where it came from.
Hmm. I mean, well, you have to give Ryan his due though. He did win TFC last year,
Yeah, he
but
did.
but even you don't. But that's not enough. Like, do you?
No, no,
Well,
don't get me wrong. Is that it was definitely like impressive
uh
to
huh.
like win TFC, because regardless of who you use, you still had to be like, you had to be Nika, you had to be Yuki, 5-star in like top eight.
Hmm.
Yeah, he pretty much won like
Hmm.
every set throughout the weekend. So
Hmm.
I mean, he's definitely good. Don't get me wrong,
Hmm.
but yeah, he
But
did well.
but he's not someone you might want to necessarily break bread with. I guess is what you're saying.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, okay. Well, I guess this is a good time to take our second and final break. But when we come back, we'll have more with Denjizz. So remember, guys, this is the time to post all your questions for either me or Denjizz in the chat. So we'll be back in a couple minutes. Stay tuned. All right, guys, we are back with more Mutant Experience, with none other than the notorious DJZ, aka Denjizz. So, Denjizz, let's another reason why I guess you rub players the wrong way is because of your high estimation of yourself as a player. Now, I want to sort of preface this to say, that I think any top player obviously needs to have confidence, right?
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
mean, that's what separates, the best players from the great players. The best players are, they all have to have some sort of degree of, you know, I don't want to call it arrogance, but confidence. That they have to have a
Yeah.
kind of faith and belief in themselves. And a
Yeah.
few
Kind of like
years,
Ahmed.
yeah, kind of like Ahmed, right? And so, because sometimes that confidence, is what helps fuel you, and it's what sort of, pushes you to kind of never give up, and that level of pride. Um, so a couple years ago, was it a couple years ago? I think was this on SRK? But I think you had oh, it's Lance. Lance just joined the chat, so that's great timing. I think Lance. I don't know if it was on SRK. I don't know if it was on 3SJ, but Lance
Pretty sure.
asked, what was it on? Was
Yeah.
it on SRK?
No, it was Xbox Live chat.
Xbox Live chat.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Xbox Live.
Lance was asked. Yeah.
So
Go ahead.
Lance asked, who everyone thinks is the top 10 American Third Strike players, and this is the first time I've ever heard of this. But can you tell the chat what your original list was at that time when you
Uh,
made the list?
that's fine. Cause like before when I made one, I think I rubbed people the wrong way,
Uh huh.
and so yeah, it got people like
So what was on that list? Because not everyone knows about this list that you had. Can you just tell
yeah.
people what was on the
But
list? What
wait,
was...
I think the connection is a little bit.
Yeah, sorry. So just tell people what your ranking was or what your list was at the time.
Yeah, I just put like the general top, Nika Yuki. I actually put myself in it, so I think that's why people found it to be, arrogant. And
So you separated, like, did you separate it like 1 through 10, or did you
yeah,
separate it
it was
in
tier
tiers?
one, yeah, tier one
Okay.
to tier 10, and
Okay.
then
So
and in
so
each
who was in tier one?
yeah in each tier there's like is I there's like no order in the tier. It's like
Okay.
left or right or left. It doesn't matter. So
Okay.
I put myself, Yuki, and Nika there. Second rank, I put. I don't really quite remember.
Uh huh.
I yeah, EXO 5 star.
Uh
Third,
huh.
I put Mutant at 10 run, something like that. But I mean, it could be like it could go like I'm pretty sure the list, it moves around over time.
Hmm.
But that was just like one of the lists that I made like right off the top of my head. So
Hmm.
yeah.
And so, what did you what did you base the what
Oh
did
yeah.
you what did you base what are you basing this this Denjizz tier system on?
Just basically experience on. Well, first of all, you need to have like pretty good skill
Uh huh.
to recognize the skill level.
Uh huh.
Then you need to know the players. Like you need to at least follow the scene. You need to follow how they play, their results and
Uh huh.
everything. Their results against other players, other top players, their consistency.
Hmm.
Like many factors. And you also like have to see their dedication to the game.
Hmm.
Their like how much they improve. From like point A to point B in time. Like a bunch of different stuff. And yeah, I just feel that that's a list based more on skill, I believe,
Hmm.
that I made. Skill and results.
Skill and results. So, why do you
Oh
think?
yeah, that's a U.S. list. So if
Yeah.
I miss any foreigners, then
Uh-huh.
is the American list there.
Okay. So is that why Ryan's not on the list?
Yeah, I mean he's from Japan, so I
Okay.
think yeah, I think that's one
But
of the.
Yuki's on the list though.
Yeah, Yuki's from Texas, isn't he?
Yeah, but Ryan's not from Japan originally.
Well, he's from Japan. Like
Okay,
he
I
he's
guess
he yeah, he's been resigning there for like many years now.
okay. I kind of get what where your logic is.
But I mean, if I were to include Ryan, he'd definitely be around the tier one.
Uh huh. Okay. And so, why do you think ranking players is such an obsession with the third strike scene?
Yeah, I
Like, why
mean
do you
it's
think
not
they're
their
so
strike, just that. Yeah, it isn't like every other sport. Players are always like, oh, who the top
uh-huh.
10, the best hitters in baseball,
Uh-huh.
the best basketball players, the best fighters in each division.
Uh-huh.
But there's always that, argument. Like people are just curious, who is really, the best. And
Mhm.
like who will make the top five, who will make top 10 or whatever. And
Mhm.
I guess some people find it entertaining, others find it to be childish.
Uh-huh.
But overall, there's always that, because it makes you up your game as well if people like put you like somewhere that you feel you don't belong.
Mhm.
So there's always that as well.
Mhm. So,
I mean, do you care if where people?
do I care about like
Yeah,
top 10
I don't.
lists?
Yeah, I don't think you care.
Um, not really.
Yeah,
A lot of people do, but I don't. Um, and I think I don't want to take too much time away from your podcast, Denjizz. But in a couple weeks, obviously next week we're gonna have the Dubai player Musa on, but the week
mhm.
after we're gonna have Yi on the podcast.
Oh really?
Um,
Oh, that's nice.
and I think one of the things we're gonna talk about is, you know, whether or not Third Strike is better suited as a game for a singles competitor or teams.
I think it's
Because
teams.
because
Yeah,
because obviously the biggest Third Strike tournament of the year is Co-op Cup, right?
yeah,
Um, and so you know, I guess when you if the biggest tournament of the Third Strike calendar is a team tournament, you know, then obviously what does that say about how the Japanese see Third Strike, as a game. You know what I mean? And so that's one of the things we're going to talk about. But in terms of tiers and stuff, I mean, to me, like it doesn't really matter unless there's something on the line. You know what I mean? Like it's not like none of us are getting sponsored or anything.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's
Like
not
it's
like
not like
we're getting
it's
it.
not like we're it's
We're
not like
not
we're
like we're getting
playing for
paid.
money. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's but I don't know. Some people like to debate, some people don't, and I think there are some people who are just curious to see where they stack up, right? You know,
yeah,
they're curious to know, and I'm sure you're curious, right? Like you want to know how well you stack up against this one person and so forth and so on. Um, I don't know. This might be another hot take, but I also think that the people who care the most about these top 10 lists, at least in the third strike scene, aren't even players that are in any of the top 10 of the list. You know what I mean? Like it's weird, right? Like why like I feel like the people who have the most to say about like, who the top 10 third strike players are in America are the ones that aren't even in the actual top 10. Like
yeah.
I don't know
I,
if like a
I
top
would agree with that.
I don't know if a top player really cares about I don't know.
Except for probably like power weight. Like
I mean, I'm not
we,
a top player, so maybe you can answer this question, Denjis. But do you care where you are in the top 10?
yeah.
You know?
Honestly, yeah, I do. Honestly,
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then there you
and
go.
that has to do with like passion and passion and the time you put into it.
Uh huh. Okay. Okay. Cool. So let's talk a little bit about Co-op Cup. I mean, earlier you were saying that you wouldn't be able to go to Japan, and it seems like a lot of gaijin, a lot of Americans particularly, are making the trip, even more than last year. Um, you know, uh, is that something that you'd like to go to?
Yeah, I like to go there, but I I don't think I'll ever like. It's held like at a specific time in January
Uh huh.
in Japan, so I think the schedule for that will throw a lot of people off. Like
Hmm.
they probably won't be able to get that time off, and
Mhm.
get on vacation for like a whole week for that.
Mhm.
So yeah, I don't think I'll be at a co-op cup, but would I want to? I would definitely want to, be there
Mhm.
and help out, our team.
Mhm. I've I don't know. Uh, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I've shared this opinion on the podcast or not. But I definitely think that if you if you join Team New York, I think you guys would be a strong team. You know, obviously, I was on Team New York last year, and we got
Yeah,
we got very far, and we did very well. But we just
two
couldn't.
more win. Yeah, two more wins to top eight.
Yeah, there was just that
That was really good. That
that
was really
final
good.
hurdle. Even Nika's match against Tominaga was close.
Yes, yeah,
Just a couple brain farts,
yeah.
and
If I
it
was
is what it
there
is.
by Nika's side, I would have told him, don't attack him here because he has
Yeah.
like super two stack. I
Uh-huh.
probably would have warned him there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's like that's interesting because I feel like one of the things that people don't really factor in a team tournament is knowing how to treat your team members. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like
Yeah,
there are some players who love hearing advice during the game.
yeah,
Like for example, like Holdat, right? Like he's really receptive to like in between rounds.
yes.
He'll hear people tell him something, and then he'll be like, "Cool, great." Then there are other players like Gavin. He just wants you to shut the fuck up
I,
while he plays. He doesn't
I,
want you to tell him anything. Like he doesn't want to hear anything.
uh,
You know what I mean? And I it's I don't know. It's weird because
well, you talking
during
about in the middle of the match or only in the
like
middle of the match, right? Not
anytime
before,
in the middle of the match, in between rounds, in between games.
or
What I'm
what about
just I
before the
guess
game? Like,
I guess the point I'm trying to make is that players are different. Like for
hmm,
myself, right?
yeah,
It was real eye opening watching the video of us playing because ordinarily when I play, like I basically block everything out. Like
yeah,
I don't hear anything anyone is saying. So it was really eye opening for me to watch the footage of us playing because it was the first time I had heard like what my teammates were saying during the match. You know what I mean? Because
hmm,
I'm able to kind of block out everything while I'm playing.
yeah.
Um, and so it was real eye opening. So it doesn't really matter for me. I don't care what my teammates are saying because I'm not really listening to them anyway. Right?
They were cheering you on, man. They were cheering you on.
Whether that's good or bad. But I feel like that's something that teams should particularly players who are planning to go to co-op cup. I mean I think I don't know. I think there's this sort of attitude that like it doesn't annoy me, but like I feel like a lot of American players they're like, "Oh, I'm going to go to co-op cup and lose and that'll be it." Like, dude, like be
Yeah,
positive when you
played.
go to co-op cup,
Yeah,
man. It's one freaking game, dude. Go there, play
that's
to
true.
win. You'll have the most fun if you play
And
to win.
yeah, yeah, that is true. If you play and try your hardest, that's where the adrenaline, the excitement comes from.
Right?
And
Like
yeah, and you said it's one game. Anything
just
could
like
happen.
yeah, just like KG said, right? Anything is possible, right? Anything is possible. And so,
Unless you run into like Tommy Naga or Deshiken, then
well, even
you're pretty
see
much
that's the
screwed.
thing. Even then, right? Lloyd had Tominaga. He had him, and he did some things that were to this day I can't understand why. Like second round, Tominaga is just sitting in the corner, and what does Lloyd do? He dive kicks right in front
Yeah.
of him. Like
I heard he wanted to. I heard he misjudged the dive kick because I was following his updates on Twitter at the time. So
dude,
I think he
he
tried to
shouldn't.
misjudge it.
But he
Yeah,
shouldn't have gone in anyway.
yeah, yeah.
He shouldn't have gone in anyway.
He should have
It doesn't.
played mid screen and
Yeah.
yeah. But
Um. So anything can happen, man. Like he almost beat Tominaga. It was
Yeah.
really so. I feel like if you're going to Co-op Cup next year and you're going with your friends and you're teaming up, don't sell yourself short. Believe in yourself. Go there to win. Go there to support each other. Because like if you go there and you're like, okay, we're gonna lose, like you're not only selling yourself short, but you're also selling your friends short. You're also selling your teammates short. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like
Yeah.
go there, believe in yourself, believe in each other, and you're gonna have more fun that way. And I guess that's and if you are going to go in there with a serious mindset, you really want to kind of think about how you're going to talk to your teammates before the game, during the game, after the game, because every player is different. Like I said before, right? Hold that. He's a player that's really receptive to hearing.
Hmm.
You know, really, he's really receptive to this. That's a good question, X. So I'll get to that. Um, Holdats a player that's really receptive to hearing advice during the game, and he'll actually do it. You'll actually see him do the things you're telling him to do.
Uh-huh.
Like for example, when he was playing the Urian player during the first turn,
Oh man.
the one thing
I,
that I kept
yeah.
the one thing that I kept repeating to Holdat is keep the action in the middle, keep the
Mhm.
action in the middle, and
You know what was funny about that match was that I heard towards the end, Frankie was like, "Yo, keep back, keep back," and then what did Holat do? He fought him in the corner, and then he caught him in the super, and he won.
yeah.
So that was pretty
Uh,
funny there.
so you know so there are players like that, and then there are players like Gavin, right, where he doesn't want to hear a thing. He just wants you to just cheer him on, but he doesn't want to he doesn't want to hear any advice or any instructions or anything. So like the thing with Lloyd, to me, he's our captain, he's our strongest
Hmm.
player, and so it's kind of at least just from my end, like you kind of just have to have faith that a player of his caliber is gonna know what to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's gonna know. Maybe that was my mistake. Maybe I should have been like, oh hey Lloyd, hang back. Don't dive kick from across the screen. Maybe I should have said that. You're right. Maybe I should have. But
Yeah.
at the time, I felt like he would be more empowered if all of us were just to have faith in him, because
Yeah, I
he's he's
understand. Yeah,
he's our
you guys
captain,
were all
right?
like claps of hands together. Yeah, you
Yeah,
had to put all your faith in them.
he's our captain, and he's now Exo had a really good question.
Oh
He
man,
said
what did he
something
ask?
about he said something about but what if your teammates aren't good enough to be on your normally serious team? And I think we were actually talking about this in private, right, Denjizz? Like, and you kind of mentioned it before. Like, you were talking about who you would team with at TFC. Like, you would team with like Rage or whatever, even though you don't think Rage is obviously,
No, no, I
his
said
skill
that on
level
podcast.
is.
I said that. Yeah, I
Yeah,
said
yeah,
that
you
on
said that in
podcast.
podcast, but we also talked in private about, just what it means to be a team,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah,
And I
yeah, we did.
think it's not really a question of how good, like the team, like first of all, everyone creates teams in a different way. You know what I mean? Some people will assemble a team, out of regional logic, right? Like for example, Team New York, right?
Yeah,
Like were we the five best players in America? No, but we all trained
uh-huh.
together. We all
Yeah.
broke
You
bread
guys played
together.
together,
We
trained
all hung out
together.
together. We
Yeah,
all grinded together. And so, you know,
exactly.
it wasn't.
At the end of the day, it's also about having fun. So
Yeah.
obviously, you're gonna team with guys you know
Uh huh.
versus like probably like better players who you probably won't see again.
Uh huh.
That's like probably my opinion, but different people have different tastes. But I mean, you could also have like a mixture, like
Uh huh.
mix other good players in
Uh huh.
with your own teammates. I mean,
Yeah.
you could do like a variety of stuff, however
Yeah.
you want.
I guess my point is, teams form in different ways. You know what I mean? And what I'm saying is, because I know I know for sure Lance started this conversation, or I don't know, maybe Grimlock started it too. But shortly after the last co-op cup, somebody, it might have been Lance, he was like, "Oh, next co-op cup team, next co-op cup it should be, and then he listed like who he thought were like the 5 best players in America.
Hmm.
Kind of like he wanted to make like the Golden State Warriors version of of a co-op Third Strike team. But the thing
Yeah.
about the Golden State Warriors, right, is that they're not all the best players in the league. You know what I mean? It's not like a dream team.
You want to
You
create
know
an
what I mean?
all-star team.
Like just because you assemble, just because you put together the 5 best players of all time in America and put them on a team and send them over to Co-op Cup, that's not going to necessarily increase the likelihood that they're going to do that they're going to
It's more
that
about
they're going to do better.
it's more about if you can avoid the death pool, if you can
Yeah.
avoid the top players,
Hmm.
yeah, in your bracket, which you guys basically had.
Yeah.
You guys had like 4 teams that were that were kind of like mediocre
Yeah.
or a little bit good, but you guys could definitely have beaten them.
Yeah.
So it's also about bracket luck in that sense.
Yeah, that team that we lost to, they were you know how every year at Co-op Cup there's always like 2 or 3 teams where you're like, wow, I've never heard of these guys before, right? Like there's always that 1 or 2 teams where it's like, wow, they're so rare. Like we were
Um,
supposed to be one of those teams in top 8, you know what I mean? But
yeah,
but obviously we didn't.
I've never heard about that team with the Goki player who beat you guys. Decoy, yeah, Decoy.
Decoy, yeah.
Like yeah, I've never heard of him. But then when I saw the bracket that you guys were up against them for the final round before top 8, I was like, all right, I think you guys had it. Like I thought you guys were gonna beat them. And then like to my surprise, the Goki player took out like three of your best players. So
Yeah. So
yeah,
yeah, so I don't know if you assemble a team that had the top 5 best players of all time in Third Strike, there's no I don't know if that's going to greatly increase your chances of winning. I think it's more of I think the focus should be, you're going to assemble your team, whether it's going to be by design, whether it's going to be, through region,
hmm
whether it's because you're friends or you're close to these people. Um, but I think once that team is formed, it's important that every team member sort of gets to learn and gets to know each member. You know what I mean, and their tendencies, and I think that's really the focus.
yeah.
Um, and so yeah, I guess that's kind of what I wanted to say about that. Um, hold on, I just so yeah, but anyway, why did I talk about this? Oh yeah, that's right. I don't know if I've shared this publicly, but I really do think you should be the new 5th member of Team
Uh,
Tits Denjizz. I think
I'm not gonna be there, so you might as well like induct like Lance or something, like
La-
Lance or
La- Lance could
Lance or yeah. I mean, he wants to be a part of Nika's team for forever. So him and Nika,
well,
best
but they already
friends.
have but we already but Team Tits already has a Chun. Think about it, right? Like if you could go, that would be a sick team. That would be a sick
It
team.
would. I think
It
it
would
would.
be. My only concern is, the, my only concern is the Japanese. They know how to play Denjin Ryu pretty well. So I don't know. We'll so but you say you're gonna switch to Ken though. Would you use Ken, or would you, like, if Co-op Cup was tomorrow and you were on
Yeah.
Team Tits, who would you use?
I'll use Ken. I'll use Ken
So
because
you
I've
have
been
two Kens.
yeah I've been using him more and more often lately. So
Uh huh.
right, if I practice
Yeah.
with Ryu, maybe Ryu, but right now, I think Ken is my I think he's my sharpest character right now.
Okay. So what do you why the switch to Ken? I guess is a good question.
Well, after pre-qual cup last this year,
Uh huh.
I mean, like we all saw our hero, the green dragon Deshiken. We all saw him like he basically won like the entire event himself, like the pre-qual cup. He beat like 3 teams single-handedly.
Huh.
So after that, I was like, holy shit, like before I thought like the best Ken was like Matsuken or Deshiken or like a mixture. but then or Kashi. But then after I saw that, I was like, oh my god, this guy is this guy is actually the best with him. So I was kind of inspired after watching that. So
Uh huh.
yeah, so pretty much like I've been using him more often,
Uh huh.
but I mean it's hard to it's hard to overtake the character that you've been main for 10 years
Uh
within
huh.
like a couple months because there's just like so many things to learn with one character. So yeah, but as to why I use Ken is just is like interesting to me. It's like it's like a new breath of fresh air.
Mm-hmm. Like, what are some of the things that you're enjoying about using Ken?
What I enjoy using him.
Yeah, like what are some of the things that you? Because you said it's
Uh,
like it's refreshing. It's like a breath of fresh air. Like, what are some of the
yeah,
things that you are
hit
enjoying
confirm,
about?
hit
Because
confirms. Because like before, I've never hit like I'm terrible at hit confirming.
you
So
don't have. When did you have to hit
yeah,
confirm with
yeah,
Ryu?
basically, that's why I use them online. It's like whatever you just spam tatsus, hit them, you just stun them. It's like
Uh-huh.
very basic. But with Ken, it's like you have to hit confirm, stand strong, crouch strong,
Uh-huh.
like a whole bunch of stuff, and that's really challenging because you have to like learn some new stuff there.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah. You can finally DED, right? That's something that
Yeah, DVD,
obviously that's cool. Um,
double DPs everywhere.
yeah. You're a little bit more mobile. Yeah.
No,
Yeah. That's good. So EXO is surprise surprise taking credit for your switch.
what do you?
He says Denjizz is now acknowledging what I told him 5 years ago. That's what EXO says on the chat.
Really?
Yeah. So all right. So the podcast is running a little bit late, Denjizz.
Yeah.
So I think we may have to wrap it up soon. But before we go, um, is there any sort of parting words that you wanted to say to the people watching? That
Have fun and keep playing Dirt Strike.
great. That
Yeah.
well put.
Play
Well,
Dirt Strike. It's a good game.
yes. So, oh wait, I completely forgot, guys. I
What?
forgot about pack it up. I almost
Yeah.
forgot. All right, guys. So, that's the end of that's where we're coming towards the end of the podcast. Oh yeah, you were supposed to answer some questions. Well, I was looking for questions that were non-troll, and I
Sure.
really couldn't find any. So okay, before we do pack it up, let me search the chat and let's see if there were any questions that are worth asking you. So let's go look in the chat and let's see. Um, troll question, troll question, troll question,
Oh God.
troll question, troll question, troll
Are you
question.
serious?
Yeah, these are all just troll. Well, because the entire chat room is filled with trolls. So
Someone wants to link to Fightcade.
yeah, maybe someone must have linked to Fight Cade. All right. Well, it doesn't seem like there are any real questions. I mean, if you guys have any real questions, this is your last chance to ask Denjizz. Real, valid questions. Name origin. Okay, so Nick Omega Urian, shoutouts to Omega Urian.
Yeah.
Where did where did Denjizz come from?
I was on GGPO. I first used the name ARG,
Mhm.
ARGH, ARG.
Mhm. Mhm.
But then like one day I was like, all right, I need a different name. Somebody give me a different name. And then like some random guy was like, all right, who do you use? I'm like, I use Ryu. And then
Mhm.
he was like, what super you use? I use Denjin. And he was like, Denjis? So I was like, all right, whatever. I'll just use that name. So then I logged in that, and ever since I've been known as Denjis. So it's
Mhm.
just like a random name origin.
Okay. These the stories for these origins, the origin stories for names are never as good as you think, right?
Yeah.
All right. So another question. This is from Brian. What up, Brian? From the Chicago scene, Bathtub Leviathan, Logan Arcade Crew, holding it down. He asks, what is your favorite Denjin setup?
Favorite? Um, I would have to say the overhead. You know the towards medium punch where it
Uh
hits you
huh.
twice overhead in the corner,
Uh huh.
and then right after that you throw like a little short and you do fireball Denjin.
Uh huh.
I think that was pretty sick.
Yeah.
But it's not like the most effective. Like the most effective, you just throw it far away.
Yeah.
So you throw it far away so that the other guy doesn't have time to like mash out stun. But
Yeah.
if you do like close setups, it's like it gives your opponent more time to mash out, basically. But yeah, that's like my favorite setup: the overhead into a little short fireball.
Hmm. So it's funny because back in the day, Mo Preem was convinced that the best Denshin setup was reverse grab Denshin.
Yeah,
He was like, that's the only viable, like that's the most reliable Denshin setup ever.
the classic.
So let's see another question. This is from Lance. When you meet Mopreem for the first time, will you
Oh my
hug,
god,
shake hands, or have a stare down?
Wolverine. Uh, probably like a handshake and then I'll probably hug him.
A
Yeah,
handshake and then hug. Okay,
yeah,
great.
handshake and friendly hug.
Yeah, you've never hugged me. That's pretty messed up. Whatever. Anyway, Kazi asks the same question except he wants to know what you would do for him. Like when the first time you meet Kaz, what would you do?
Kaz,
Hug, shake hands, or stare down? Are those the
probably.
only options?
Yeah,
Are those the only options Denjis
yeah.
gets?
What about like a kiss?
Oh, okay, okay.
That could be like a fourth option. Kiss on the cheek.
Yeah,
Yeah,
European greeting.
yeah,
Yeah,
friendly.
yeah. Okay, okay.
Yeah, I think probably like a greeting and then hug it out. Yeah,
Mhm,
I love hugging other guys. It's a good form of affection.
mhm,
It shows that you care for them. Shows that yeah, it shows that you're friendly.
mhm. I can see that we have firm supporters of the LGBT community in the chat tonight. um, what would you do if you met West Coast Frankie 3S?
Who asked that question?
Colton.
Okay, Frankie 3S West Coast. I don't know. I wouldn't really feel anything. I would just be like, hey, you're Frankie. Oh shit,
Mhm,
nice to meet you. Like I learned this character from you, and that's about it.
mhm. Yeah. All
It
right,
would be kind
so
of like
uh-huh.
probably like it would be like Lloyd meeting KO. It's like, hey, what's up?
I actually wasn't there when they met. For some reason I thought the universe was going to implode or something.
Well, I'm
But we're
just like
still
really
here, so
guessing.
it's good. So Kyo asks, would you go to TFC if someone paid for your ticket?
Someone pay for a ticket.
Like, would it be 100% that you would go?
It's not the money that's the
Yeah, it's not the money. Yeah,
yeah. It's
I
it's
think
about
we
my
went over
family
that.
and the schedule. But
Yeah,
would it raise my chances? I would say so. I mean, it's free
obviously,
money.
obviously, right? Yeah, obviously.
What he wants?
Um,
He wants to pay for my ticket.
yeah. Then he'd sponsor you. You'll be H Jap Denjizz.
H-Jab Denjizz. I like the name.
Yes. Um, let's see another question. If Ryan beats you, this is from Katie Alpha. If Ryan beats you, are you going to be salty?
Yeah, I'll probably put like a DC, like a Daniel Cormier. Yeah, I'll probably like hide from everybody. I'll overpour my emotions and then I'll just like leave the scene. Like I'll just leave on day one and then I'll never see anybody again.
Yeah. Well, speaking of salt, you were pretty upset after your set with Frankie
Oh yeah,
at the
yeah,
last Fat Club.
yeah. That
You
that
know,
was oh my god. Out of I've been playing this game for like 10 years. That match against Frankie, I think yeah, I think I was the most upset over that set. But I also learned the most from that set too. So I
uh
gotta
huh.
I gotta thank Frankie for that.
Okay, okay, great, great, great. Um, so Omega Urian, he wants to know what your other hobbies are.
Hobbies,
Yeah, aside from Third Strike.
uh, exercise,
Uh huh.
other games, chess,
Mhm.
hiking.
Mhm.
That's about it.
Yeah. And then yeah, Kyo says he has to get 20% of your winnings though, if he buys your plane ticket.
20% winnings. All right.
That's pretty good actually. You know, agents make more than that.
There's like no winnings at TFC, man. There's like
Yeah, if you no, if you
first
get
place team
singles.
gets like $20. You get like $20 from that. So he
No,
won
you
like
don't get $20. It's like it's like what is it, $10 per person? It's like $30 a team, and then there's a $500 pot bonus for teams. Well, I don't know. You need to talk to EXO about that. He's the one in charge of that.
he's probably talking about singles though.
Yeah.
But then there's like 5 Japanese dudes there. So what are the chances of me like, like what's first place, like $500? So
Right, what did I say?
20
Right?
yeah,
Anything's
20%,
possible.
20% won't cover the plane ticket too.
Yeah.
So
So and I guess this is a good last question here. Kazi says, "Would you rather have 2 stocks of Denjin or Kang's respect?"
uh well, Kang already respects me, so I would rather have 2 stocks of Denjin then.
All right. Okay, great. All right. So thanks, guys, for all your questions. I appreciate it. So now we can get to the segment that I know Kaz has been waiting patiently for. And so don't worry, Kaz. We got you. Denjizz, how familiar are you with Pack It Up?
Very familiar.
Okay.
We even have a logo for that on our chats. The brown box.
The brown box?
Yeah, the brown box, the package. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Whenever someone like does something embarrassing, we're like, "Yo, pack it up, man," with that package there.
So for those of you who are just joining us, and for those of you who are new to the Mutant Experience, on every podcast, we air a segment called Pack It Up, where I scour the internet for some lowlights, if you will, of Third Strike play. And so, Denjizz, obviously, you seem very familiar with Pack It Up, and so we'll just kind of get right to it. So basically, every week, I go through all of the I go through as much footage as I can humanly possibly find in the time that I have, and I come up with 5 nominees, and no one has yet to tweet me what their favorite is. I mean, that's the whole point, guys. You gotta tweet me. You gotta let me know which is the winner. What do you think of a year-end awards, Denjizz? Would you help me host that? Like we get all the Pack It Ups, and then we do like a yearly award. Like we'd figure out what's the cream of the crop, the best of the best.
Yeah, sure thing.
So I'm gonna have to I need to go ahead and give me some time, guys, because I'm doing the podcast on Discord, and so Denjizz can't see my screen, and so I have to
I just logged on to your stream actually.
yeah, but it's gonna be there's gonna be a little bit of lag, so you have to kind of just have to figure out which file it is. Oh, there it is. Okay. So all right, there you go. So go on your Facebook, Denjizz, and I'm gonna send you the chat and send you the link.
Facebook.
Yeah, or whatever computer you're on. Because you have to watch it with me. I mean, you don't have to watch it with me, but. And again, I'm sorry, Kazi. We're moving as fast as we can here. All right.
Facebook where?
Just the message, instant message.
All right, I see it.
Okay. So I guess without further ado, guys, this is this week's edition of Pack It Up, and so you can go ahead and play it now. Then just make sure you mute it or something. All right. Pack It Up. So, nominee number 1. To quote NBA Jam, that chariot rush was from downtown. Watch as this Urian mirror match ends with a Hail Mary from full screen.
Oh man, that's like a Nebraska tech right there.
Nebraska Tech?
Yeah.
Nominee number 2. Okay, for 1,000 troll coins, I challenge anyone to find a clip that has worse footsies than the ones displayed in this sequence.
Oh man.
Oh. Nominee number 3. Speaking of round-ending Hail Marys, here's a prime example of what not to do when your opponent jumps at you from full screen. I wonder if that comboed. I think it comboed.
Full screen jab? Oh. That's probably, yeah, that's pretty sick actually.
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
That's like the same startup as the kick.
Yeah. Nominee number 4, another clip with banned Ganesian tactics makes the cut. This young player gets his buffer parry blown up with a Tatsu to the face. Look at him activate, and then he jumps, and then look at this. You see that low parry? gets
Jesus.
gets Tatsu.
Too respectful, man.
Yeah, and nominee number 5, it wouldn't be Pack It Up without a clip of someone getting green barred in the most embarrassing way possible. This perfect was pretty sick.
Oh my god. Ooh. Wow, that was sick. That was good job.
It was.
God.
That was pretty sick. All right, guys.
Yo.
So tweet us your favorite. Which one you think was the best Pack It Up clip? Tweet me at Mutant XP and then let me know. What was your what was your favorite, Denjizz? Which one did you like?
Definitely number 5.
Number 5. Number
I
5
like
was
number
5 was pretty sick. It was pretty sick. Yo, number 2, yeah, number 2 was good too. Yeah. So all right. So I guess that's the end of the podcast. I already asked you this, Denjizz, but is there anything else that you wanted to say? Any parting shots, if you will?
Play Dirt Strike is a good game.
All right. So hopefully, I know that I speak for everyone in the chat. I hope that you make it to TFC. All good events.
I hope I get sponsored for that.
Yeah, all good events need a villain. And so hopefully you can be that villain that the Third Strike scene can rally behind.
Mm-hmm.
And so that'll be good. That'll be good. So before we get out of here, I just wanted to let everyone know that next week, the Mutant XPerience will air at a very special time, 12 p.m. Eastern, because my guest for next week will be the Abu Dhabi Dubai Third Strike Akuma player, Oni Musa. And so I'm definitely looking forward to that podcast, Denjizz, because I don't really know a whole lot about the Dubai scene. I know that from the videos that I've seen that they're pretty sick. They're like the Essos of Third Strike, right? They're like the Dothraki. For those of you who watch Game of Thrones, they're nice on the DL probably. I know Dioxin, he's a player that's from that scene as well. So for those of you who are curious about the Dubai scene and want to know more about the Third Strike scene over there, that'll be great. Lance, I've asked EXO numerous times to come on the podcast, but he refuses to go. I don't know why. I think it would be a great show. Anyway, so before we get out of here, I just wanted to run down a couple events that are coming up. And so first and foremost, once again, guys, thanks for watching the Mutant XPerience podcast. Obviously, once again, I run this podcast to give Third Strike players an opportunity to promote themselves, their scenes, and their events. And so, if you guys have any suggestions on who I should interview next, let me know on Twitter or email me, and we'll make it happen. If you're curious about who my next guests are, there's a schedule on my page, and so definitely take a look at that. Oh shoot, I didn't know. Sorry guys. OBS came out with a OBS came out with a new update, and so things have had to change around a little bit. But yeah, it also coming up very soon. Next month, in fact, is East Coast Throwdown. There will be a Third Strike tournament there, and the arcade room will be 24 hours. Uh, Obviously, TFC, an event that we've been talking about quite a bit on this broadcast, is also on the horizon, September 29th to October 1st. Also announced, I think today, there will be a Third Strike tournament in Boston, hosted by the Red Bull Battlegrounds. So definitely check that out. Shout outs to Arcadium. Check out his channel. He streams ST on Mondays, Third Strike on Wednesdays. Remember that the Mutant XPerience is now powered by Trollcoin Bot. Shout outs to the West Coast players. The Boiler Room. Hopefully they start playing again. Shout outs to the Lost Ark guys for streaming Third Strike on Thursdays. I think their stream is still going on. Maybe, maybe not. But if it is, definitely check it out. And definitely big ups to the UK crew. Violent City, Sendo, hosting all that stuff. So once again, guys, you've been watching the Mutant XPerience. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, Denjizz, thanks for coming on the show. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
And so I'll see you guys next week when my guest will be Oni Musa from the Dubai scene.
All right.
See you guys later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.